Hello dear students, good morning to all of you. As we have started principle of management and we were discussing fuels principle of management. We have already discussed regarding unity of direction and unity of command. Now today we will start the same term with making a brief discussion as the difference between unity of command and unity of direction. So first of all, on the basis of meaning, unity of command means a subordinate should receive order and instruction from one boss only. It means if subordinates are going to be controlled or command, that command must be given by one person, controlling must be under in one person, one boss. No, there should not be so many bosses who are controlling the subordinates, same subordinates. Next is, in case of unity of direction, they must advocate one head or one plan. It means for achieving the goal of the business, there must be one objective and one plan. It may be a plan B, but in the same time only one plan must be effective and direction must be given in one way to achieve the common goal. In context of scope, under unity of command, it is related to the functioning of personnel, because as the commands are going to be given, personnel have to function according to that. And in the case of unity of direction, this is related to functioning of department or the organization as a whole. It means it is related, unity of command is related to related with individual, but unity of direction is related with complete department. The main motive, third difference of unity of command and unity of direction is, the main motive or the main purpose of unity of command is to avoid confusion and fix up the responsibility of the employee. But in case of unity of direction, its main motive is to direct the effort of employees of one department in achieving the main objective of that department. It means the complete department will work in the same direction. There should not be any confusion, there should not be any change in the way of working of the department. Next is results in case of unity of command, systematic working and improved efficiency by removing confusion and chaotic conditions. It means it helps the employee under the one command to improve its efficiency, because if there are so many commands, it may confuse the employee and it will decrease the efficiency of the employees. In context of unity of direction, coordination within a particular department is established and they try to achieve the target by preventing overlapping of various activities. So dear students, this was the difference between unity of command and unity of direction. Now let's study the next principles of management. In this principle, now today we are starting from remuneration of employees. As the Fayol said that the overall pay and compensation should be fair to both employees and organization. The wages should encourage the worker to work more and better. It means differential wage system has been applied, or differential wage system has been decided, must be decided by the employer, and the employees must be remunerated according to their job, because this is the remuneration which helps the employee to achieve the organizational goal. This is the remuneration which motivate the employees to contribute in achieving the organizational goal more and in better way. So remuneration of employees must be according to their work. Next principle is subordination of individual interest to generalist interest. It means employees should, under this principle of management, the manager should inspire the employees in such a way so that they can contribute to achieve the organizational goal instead of achieving their personal goal. They have to explain, they have to motivate that if the organization is successful, they have to motivate that if the organization is successful, then the business will grow up, and if the business will grow up, then they will be remunerated more and more, because if the business will get succeed in the market, if they will achieve the organizational goal, obviously organization will help in improving their economic and other condition. So in this way, the individual interest of employees can be subordinated with the general interest or general interest of the organization, and it will help to achieve the organizational goal in ease and comfort way by the approach of each and every individual employees. Next is centralization and decentralization. Centralization means concentration of decision making authority in few hands at top level, and decentralization means evenly distribution of power at every level of management. Both should be balanced, as no organization can be completely centralized or completely decentralized. It means under this principle of management, Fayol said that the centralization of power, it means authority of decision making, must be in few hands, and if it is going to be decentralized, then it must not be distributed at every level of management. It must be under the control of the organization, and for this purpose, if the organization is centralizing the power, then they should have to be active each and every time, and if the power is going to be decentralized, then it must be given to those given in those hands which are really responsible, or which can really handle the situation in any of the condition of the business. So some part of the power or authority can be centralized and some part of the power or authority can be decentralized as it is required in the business. Next is scalar chain. Scalar chain, it refers that the formal lines of authority between superiors and subordinates from the highest to the lowest rank is known as scalar chain. As we know that in the organization there is a hierarchy of authority where and as we have already discussed the level of management which follow the hierarchy system of authority. The top level management is responsible for making plans, and after that middle level and lower level management, and the superiors are there for performing each and every work or watching the work, and the subordinates are with them, but there is a chain between the employees and the employer, and they must have to follow it. And due to this chain, suppose that this scalar chain refers that if any situation arise, if suppose that this is D and if the D has to communicate anything to G, then in that situation it is a hierarchy system and D is employee and G is the person, the boss, who has to communicate. D has to communicate something to G. Now if the hierarchy system is going to be followed, then D will inform C and C will inform B and B will inform A and A will inform E and E will inform F and F will inform G. And in this situation there should not be, and due to each and every channel of the hierarchy system has been followed, and due to this followings there is no break of chain of information or communication. There is no communication gap, and each and every people are well known regarding the particular information, and the information will be reached to G in a same way. But suppose that if C is not able or C is not there, if D communicates it to B and B does not going to communicate it to A, B is going to directly communicate it to E and E is directly going to communicate it to G, then there is a communication gap between D and C, C and B, B and A and E, E and F and G. So there is a communication gap, and this is marked as negative communication in the organization. So while communicating any information by any of the subordinates, they must have to keep their superiors in view and they must have to follow the hierarchy system of the organization. And under this hierarchy system, they must have to follow the channel. But you were thinking that it is a time-taking process. Yes, it is a time-taking process, but we cannot ignore this process, because this is the process through which each and every one will be responsible. No one can deny his or her own responsibility, because they all are involving in each and every kind of information. But now you were thinking that what about in emergency situation? If there is a scarcity of time, then what will happen? How the information can be circulated to the particular person? Now suppose that if there is emergency situation in the organization and there is a scarcity of time, due to lack of time, if D is not going to C, B, A, E and F, D can directly inform or D can directly communicate to G the particular information in the case of emergency situation. And if this happens, it creates a kind of communication channel or communication between D and G. This communication way will be known as gangplank. Under this gangplank, D is going to directly communicate to its superior or to whom D wants to communicate. Then the way of communication is known as gangplank. Suppose that if D has to directly communicate it to F, then D will directly communicate it to F, and the way of communication will be known as gangplank. But this gangplank can be used only in case of emergency situation in the organization. In general situation, they have to follow the chain of authority between superior and subordinates. They must have to communicate each and every information with from lowest to highest, and authority must be followed to highest to lowest. So this is the gangplank. This is the part of scalar chain, but this can be applicable only in case of emergency situation. In genuine situation, each and every superior and subordinates has to follow the particular chain of information or communication which has been established in the organization. Now, next term is order. Here, order means a place of everything and everyone, and everything and everyone should be in its designated place. People and material must be in suitable place at appropriate time for maximum efficiency. Here order does not means to giving order. Here order means each and every material must be at their proper place. How far it is concerned with the job environment or job location, if any person is working at any place, then the material of the particular work must be in reach of that particular person or that particular subordinate, and the material must be in proper or in arranged manner. Even though if the people are there, the people must be in proper order. It means the work order must be followed. Next is equity. Equity means equality. Equity means equality. The working environment of any organization should be free from all forms of discrimination, religion, language, caste, sex, belief, or basis unity of command. Basis unity of command, unity of direction, nationality, and principle of justice and fair play should be followed. No worker should be unduly favored or punished. It means in the term of equity, each and every people are equal. Each and every subordinates and superiors are equal in case of law of the organization. No one can be favored and no one can be disfavored. There should not be any kind of biasness regarding religion, language, caste, sex, beliefs, nationality, etc. So each and every people has the same right and same way of working. There should not be any kind of discrimination. Next is stability of personnel. It is the one of the most important principle of management. When Fayol was in the organization, he was watching continuously, he was thinking that the turnover of the personnel are higher, and due to the higher turnover, the business was not getting success. And it is practical. If the business has to survive, if the business has to sustain, if the business has to achieve its goal, then there must be stability or stability of the personnel. Because whenever you are going to appoint or you are going to recruit any person, and after recruitment you are going to provide him training and training and development program, and under the training and development program they are going to be trained. But if these subordinates are not stable in that particular organization, if the condition or the situation of the organization is not in the favor of the personnel, they will leave the organization and the training of that particular organization will be in vain. And this training or experience will help the other organization instead of the particular organization. Suppose that if I am going to train anyone and that person is going to not working for me, he is going to working for others, then I have spent my time and money on his training, and the fruit of that training is going to be taken by other organization. So stability of the personnel must be maintained. Now next is initiative. As we have discussed this term in business studies in 11th, that business must be initiative, because it encourages the people, it encourages the employer, it encourages the employees. It is a kind of self motivation time to time if any kind of initiation is going to be taken or maintained. So business must be initiative and steps must be taken for the initiation. Next is spirit de corps. Spirit de corps means management should promote the team spirit, teamwork. We often use the word teamwork. Teamwork means management should encourage the people to work for the organization, work for the team, not for their personal means. Suppose that if Indian cricket team is going to play any match, and in that particular team, if Dhoni is playing for himself, if Virat is playing for himself, then it is quite impossible to achieve the goal, or that is, it is quite impossible to win the match, because they all are playing for their personal development, their personal achievement. But if they play for achieving success, if they play for win as teamwork, then it will be sure that the team will achieve the goal and the team will win the match. So dear students, now I think you all have now clear concept regarding principle of management. Thank you.